This past Wednesday's Direct, we got the announcement of a brand new remake of Super Mario RPG. And let's just say
Super Mario RPG!
blew my load. But there was indeed a reason for why I had such a reaction to Super Mario RPG gaining a remake. And to give you guys an understanding, let's talk about Mario RPGs in general, because I've grown up playing these Mario RPG games. I played Paper Mario, I played Mario Luigi, I also played Super Mario RPG, loved every single one of those games, and it's kind of part of the reason to why I've been an RPG nut. It eventually got me into playing games like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. In many ways, I think the Mario RPG games are a great entry point for people who want to get into RPGs, in my opinion. And then you get into the 2010s and things kind of fell off a cliff. Paper Mario decided to not be an RPG with garbage games like Sticker Star and Color Splash, and Mario Luigi basically just went into an age of stale game after stale game from Dream Team, Paper Jam. The only thing that was decent was Superstar Saga, but you still followed that up with a mediocre remake of Bowser's Inside Story. And that game was so unnecessary to the point where Alpha Dream announced that they were declaring bankruptcy after the game released. And from that point alone that Alpha Dream was closing their doors, I knew for a fact that Mario Luigi, the sub-series of games, Mario Luigi was dead. And I know some people were going to say, oh, there's going to be new developers that are going to pick up these franchises. And as I'm speaking right now, that hasn't happened yet. The only thing that's really happened is re-releasing Superstar Saga on Game Boy Online. And then you had Paper Mario The Origami King in 2020, and even though I thought that game was probably the best out of the modern Paper Mario games, it still had flaws, it still had issues, from the fact that there's still little originality, and the fact that it was still practically worthless to fight enemies. So yeah, that game was still mediocre. And the final nail in the coffin for me, I know for most people they'll be like, why does it matter? But for me, it definitely did. After Alpha Dream closing their doors and Paper Mario still refusing to be an RPG, we had Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Gino was a Mii Fighter costume in that game. The fact that Sakurai didn't even mention the fact that Gino was being added back as a Mii Fighter costume and they just threw him back on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate kind of just confirmed to me there's no care about the Mario RPG franchise anymore. No one cares about this. Square doesn't care about it anymore. Nintendo doesn't care about it anymore. And even with the Mario RPG games not existing, Nintendo's still making money on the Mario franchise, so there's no need for this anymore. And that's basically the flame for me. That was basically how I felt about the fact that Mario RPG games were basically dead. And that brought us into a dark age of Mario RPGs where there was no new Mario RPG games for quite a while since 2019. And the only thing we really got was re-releases from Paper Mario on N64 Online and Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, like I mentioned, on Game Boy Online. But then you fast forward to June of 2023, and there was a rumor that was circling around that Super Mario RPG was indeed going to get a remake. And this was coming around from Papa Gino's, and I personally didn't want to believe it. I personally think he has good sources and he has pretty good connections on people who know a thing or two behind the scenes. But more so just because I felt very black-pilled when it comes down to Mario RPGs. I felt there was no hope for a new Mario RPG game to come out. And before we get into the announcement, of course people will point out the Mario plus Rabbids, but I personally don't find them to be RPGs. I find them to be more tactical games. I know very minute differences, but you have to understand the kind of game I'm expecting for a Mario RPG game, and Mario plus Rabbids, while I do like those games, they're not the kind of games that are fulfilling my needs. And of course the June Direct comes in and we got the announcement of Super Mario RPG Remake. Practically a faithful recreation of the original game from the over-the-top view, alongside the turn-based combat with time commands, the fact that we both have Mallow and Gino in this game, and even though Square Enix doesn't seem to be much involved with this remake, from the looks of it, it looks like they're only really giving out the license to the game and the characters. It's just great to see that this game is finally coming out and we can prove to Nintendo that Mario RPG games can still sell. And that kind of gets into my whole question. Why is this so important? It's important because we haven't had a Mario RPG game since 2019, a brand new original Mario RPG game since 2016, so it's pretty clear that we haven't really gotten a proper Mario RPG game in quite some time. And part of the reason why the Mario RPG games kind of died out was because, like I said, the 2010s were basically mediocre and one of the Mario RPG games decided to not be an RPG anymore. But they're still well known overall. People still talk about Super Mario RPG in high regards, people still talk about the Mario & Luigi games, and people still talk about the older Paper Mario games and how much they love those. And Nintendo does seem to understand that they do re-release these games on their online services. But for us to get brand new Mario RPG games, Super Mario RPG needs to do well. It needs to do big numbers to show the Nintendo that yes, Mario RPG games still have a business of doing well for the Mario franchise and won't do much to change the Mario franchise. It just only adds on to the franchise itself. Nintendo doesn't only need to rely on Pokemon and Fire Emblem for their RPG fixes. Mario can also jump into the fray and have its own set of RPGs. And that's the one thing that's important to me to tell to Nintendo. But that's all I have for today's video. What do you guys think about Super Mario RPG and why it's so important? Let me know down in the comments below, plus don't forget to leave this video a like and subscribe as well. And you want to see more videos, I do Dragon Quest and Sonic videos, check out these videos here. I think you'll get a good kick out of those. See you guys on the next one, take care.